And now it's time for Photo Booth Live Chat with John Young. Hey, we are live here on PBNTV. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. If you're watching out on Facebook or out there on YouTube, we've got a lot of different channels going on tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking to, Eddie, can I use the word legend?
Well, I have heard that I'm a legend in my own mind. I've actually heard if you knew who I thought I was, you'd be impressed.
I like that. You thought it was. I like that. I like that line. Eddie Barber's with us tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about, Eddie's going to be at Photo Booth Expo. He's going to have a booth there and he's going to be showing some really cool things for your camera and for your photo booth world. And we're going to be talking about a couple of products he's going to be demonstrating at this year's show. Before we get to that, I wanted to kind of have Eddie kind of go through his history just a little bit of some of the cool things he's done. But before we even get to that, if you are interested in coming to see us in February, in the description of the video down below is the link. The link, you can go to pbntv.com/tickets. From there, you go out to the ticket portal for Photo Booth Expo. Click on that, go to the promo code, enter PBX Show 2020. That will give you the best price on tickets. Full key pass ticket, get a great price on it. And airfare to Vegas is incredibly cheap right now. Do it and be there February 24th through the 27th, South Point Casino, Las Vegas. Not only will you get to see myself, you get to see all the crew from Photo Booth Expo, but now you're going to get to see the legendary Eddie Barber. That's pretty awesome. So Eddie, let's kind of talk about your history in the photo booth world. How did it start for you?
Well, I got in the entertainment industry when I was a kid, hanging out at the local television station. However, my first experience with anything that resembles a photo booth was it was December 31st, 1978. I was working at a TV station in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and there was a Holiday Inn next door. And on the top floor of the Holiday Inn, there was a club, and I spoke with the guy that ran the hotel manager of the club, and we decided to do one of these things that we had seen over at the, at some of the, tourist type places, where they basically would have a thing where you could, dress up in old Western costumes. And so we put this thing together with where we had a bunch of costumes like cowboy hats and leather vest and belts with 6-shooters, and basically you dress up like cowboys. And we got an old accordion style camera with a Polaroid back, and people would dress up and we'd take pictures. And we did this for the New Year's Eve event. And the cool thing about it was I ended up getting more in tips than any of the wait staff at the event. So that was pretty cool. So that was my first experience with anything that resembles a photo booth. And I just did it, for that very, very short period of time.
That was 1978, you're talking.
Yes, it was December 31st, New Year's Eve, 1978.
So you had the props, you had your camera. How the picture side of it? You took, I mean, digital didn't exist then and printing didn't exist. How did you guys handle that?
It was a Polaroid.
Strictly
An
Polaroid.
accordion type of camera with a Polaroid back.
Ah, okay. So it was in the port. Okay.
You know, it looked like something from, out of the past. And, we basically, dress everybody up, smile, take the picture, pull it out, let it sit there for a minute or two, like shake it like this, and then peel the back off and hand it to them. And everybody was all Google-eyed. This was back before everybody, took pictures with their cell phones.
Oh, fun. So you had your first experience in 78, and where kind of take us from there then on your path to where we are today through some of the different experiences you've had. Give us a couple of highlights.
Okay. Well, I mostly did TV news for about 8 years. And then I brought to fruition this camera boom crane jib thing that I had invented, which they actually, gave me one of these things for. And then that brought me out to LA. I came out to LA and I started doing music videos and commercials and TV shows and blah, 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 like shot the Roseanne Show, which won an Emmy for that. Shot Pee-wee's Playhouse, won an Emmy for that. Did a lot of that kind of stuff. Got into directing a little bit. Directed lots of music videos, including ones for Madonna and Michael Jackson that won big contest on MTV and went into heavy rotation on MTV, and had a kind of a mixture of just general creating, whether it was inventing some device or directing a project or whatever. It was kind of a plethora of that kind of stuff. And back in the early 80s, I think it was around 83 or 84, I conceptualized this thing that you could stand on and spin a camera around. And I worked with a couple of them. One was a manual one that used a big bearing and you just kind of gave it a spin. And then the other one was this huge contraption. You can actually see it in Jane Child's music video for Welcome to the Real World because we modified it for her to be able to ride on. But it was huge. It literally took a forklift to lift it and a flatbed to move it around.
Oh, geez.
And it was quite temperamental and cantankerous. It didn't like to work all the time, and it would speed up and slow down at will, and it would spark and short out at will, and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, and then, fast forward to about a year ago, I basically had no thoughts or anything about it until about a year ago. And I was doing a promo for GoPro, for the new GoPro Hero 7 Black. And I thought to make interesting shots, I would make another one. So I made another one. And then the people at the awesome people at Photo Booth Expo invited me to the show, and I went there, and we kind of threw together makeshift quickie prototypes to show at the show, because the one we made for the GoPro thing was just something two people could get on, and everyone was talking about, oh, you should make a round one that would carry more people and things like that. So we quickly kind of threw together prototypes, and we went to the show, which wasn't such a great idea. I mean, it was good in that we got a lot of interest and made a lot of contacts and got some exposure, but not all the exposure was good because, like I said, they were cantankerous and they were funky and weird, and they weren't the best operating things. But then over the course of the last year, I've kind of refined it a lot, and I've sold a bunch of them. A lot of people have called me up and wanted them, so we've sold a bunch of them. And what we're hoping to, or what we're planning to show at Photo Booth Expo is really, really, really better than what we had back then.
Nice.
Another interesting thing about the whole, spin cam or 360 video booth thing is that there seems to be a lot of controversy a manual one versus a motorized one.
Yeah.
And unless somebody made any of them prior to 1984, I think I conceptualized both, made both first, and I've experienced both. And I believe the manual is much better. I could have gone in either direction, but I decided to go in the direction of manual because it just seems to be a whole lot quicker, faster, easier, safer, lighter. I mean, less expensive. It just kind of across the board seems to be a bit better.
So Eddie, before we really dig into those products, you sound like someone who of course is comfortable working on projects, building things from scratch. Are you the kind of guy that would see something and say, "Hey, I can make a better version of that," or are you the kind of guy who's like, "You know what, I got this idea"? How would you classify yourself?
I'm not really a fan of making anything that anybody else makes. Pretty much all the things I've made in my life have been original things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you know what a camera boom crane jib thing is,
yep.
I believe I was the first one to make one of those, and I made my first one in the late 70s. If you know what a telescopic camera boom crane jib thing is, I conceptualized that in the early 80s. If you know what a gimbal is, like a electronic head or whatever, I made my first one of those, I think, in the early 80s. If you know what a quadcopter is, I think they call them drones.
Mm-hmm.
I made my first one of those, and I think it was around 91 or 92. If you know what a microcam is, or that's what I called it now, they call them like action cams or GoPros.
Yep.
I made my first one of those, and I believe it was 1990.
So you're a guy that sees and say, something here. If a person would have something built to do this job, this would be awesome. And you just come up with the idea and make it happen.
I do to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest problems in life is I have a horrible addiction in that I'm horribly addicted to creation, and creation is very, very expensive and time consuming.
Yeah, but
I'm broke all the time because I, invent or create so many things.
Mm-hmm. It's neat stuff. That's neat to have that skill and ability. Let's jump into the products now that you're going to be showing. You've been talking about the 360 cam, the spinner right there behind you. Let's look at that a little bit more. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, basically it's I think I've got some video here. Yeah, so that's my friend Sam and Elena for the commercial that we were shooting for it, I think a few weeks ago. But basically you can do something as simple as you can I'm kind of technically not so good at everything, but I'll just kind of give you an example. You can just kind of put this on here and spin it around. Of course it's doing up and down for some reason.
Yep. That's okay though. We get the idea.
Yeah, but it's quite simple. And one of the interesting things about this is that we literally sold out and shipped our last one yesterday to Florida, and we were kind of in our spare time frantically trying to get one together to have one to show on your show today. So this is literally one we finished, I want to say, an hour ago? About an hour ago. And the cool thing about it is that this one will hold one really large person, 2 big people, 4 regular sized people, or 6 kids. We literally put 6 kids on this when we were shooting our commercial a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find the video. And the interesting thing about little kids is that they're a bit like ducks. The hardest thing about them is to get them to stay put. You'd get 6 of them on there,
yep.
and you'd get ready to do the shot, and they'd start like changing places and drifting around and stuff like that. Here we go. Here's a video with 6 kids on it. Look at that.
Oh, and they stayed together. Nice.
They did.
Without being tied together. I mean, not that I'd tie my kids together to keep them from running away.
Well, we gave them stuff to play with. We noticed that if we give them things to do, they wouldn't want to wander off so much. So we gave them,
confetti,
the money machine, the money gun things, but those things didn't work very well. So then we gave them the bubble gun
Mm-hmm.
things and confetti to throw in the air, and cans of
Silly
silly
string.
string
Oh,
and stuff
nice.
like that.
They could have some fun with it.
Yes.
Nice, nice. So now the system consists. You've got is that a cell phone and iPad holder at the top that you're using on this particular one?
Yeah, this can be, you can put your cell phone on this side, or you can put your iPad on the other side and flip it around. You can also put a GoPro on it. We've also put a DSLR on it.
So a traditional camera
Um,
mount is of it on that also.
yeah, the what do you call it? The screw thing in the
Yep.
top is 1/4 20, so it fits anything from a GoPro to a cell phone holder to an
Yep.
iPad
Nice.
holder
Yep. Standard
to a
stuff.
DSLR. Yeah, you can put about anything on it within reason. You can't put a big red camera on it, or area Alexa or anything like that. But anything that's
Yeah.
around this size or smaller, you can put on it.
Nice. Nice. Now, is the arm itself? Are there little extensions so it collapses down into a shorter arm that I'm looking at?
Yes, and it's funny because when I first did it for the GoPro thing, I used a monopod so it would be telescopic, but we
Mm-hmm.
experienced a lot of bounce with it. So because it was round, and round is a good structure for up and down, but it's not so good for lengthwise. It bends and flexes.
Yeah, I get that.
So
Mm-hmm.
so I came up with this idea of making my own telescopic rectangular tube. So we have rectangular tube here that telescopes, and it's 3 sections.
Nice.
So you can raise and lower it, and adjust it, and lock it. And the arm itself actually has 3 pivots, or it articulates in many ways. It's got the bottom one at the bottom here, which you can do this,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
lock it however you want, and then it's got the 2 pivot ball joints here that you can also pivot in any direction.
Oh,
that you
nice.
want, and lock it wherever you want. So it's literally a three elbow or 3 knuckle articulating arm.
Yeah. Yep. So you can do a variety of different things with your phone or your device to get up and horizontal, vertical, whatever you want to do.
Yes, and you could even, like some people have said, well, how low will it go? It's designed where you can literally go below the surface. Like you could put the mount on top of a car and reach out over the car and go down, and you could do a shot circling a car with people in the car
Oh, wow.
from the roof down.
Uh-huh. Oh, that would be kind of a different look and a different feel for that. Neat.
Yes.
So for portability, you can break it all down, and it's the platform that I'm seeing. Is that the full platform, or is there more that's just off camera that I'm not seeing?
Oh, it's about. I would lift it up and show you, but I have a what do you call it? A hernia.
A little bit of weight.
That I've got to go get a surgery for, so I can't. Yeah, so I can't lift too much. But it weighs about 40 pounds. We have a new video that we're putting together now, where we have one of the 2 girls that was in the video earlier,
Yeah.
Elaine, where she unloads it from a van and rolls it in and sets it up by herself, and she sets it up in about, I think, 30 or 35 seconds.
Oh, nice.
But the platform itself is 16 inches by 27 1/4, and it's right at 4 inches high.
Okay, so
It's
we're seeing most of it right there then. Nice.
Yeah, it's the lowest profile of any spinner I've seen. It's lighter than any of our competitors. It sets up in seconds versus minutes, like the other units I've heard about. I've heard that if you're lucky, you can set one up in about 10 minutes, but most people seem to think it's more like 45 minutes to 2 hours to set it all up, where this thing is like 35 seconds.
Nice. Very nice. That's a neat idea. Let's. What kind of maintenance is involved with something like that to make it so it's going to last us a long time out there, as spinning from week to week?
Well, one of the great things about the bearing is that the bearing is designed to go on a motor, which would spin a gazillion times for a really, really, really long time.
Right.
And this kind of spins every now and then. So in theory, if you take care of it, it should last forever. So when I say take care of it, you don't want to like take it to the beach and drop it in the sand, or drop it in the ocean, or get salt water in it or anything like that. But if you take reasonably good care of it, it should last indefinitely.
Excellent. Excellent. And of course, that will be at Photo Booth Expo, so people can actually come and see it, touch it, and get an idea of if it's something that will work well in their business.
Absolutely. We've got a 10 by 30 booth. Like if you walk right into the entrance where you're looking at the show, and you hang a left and go to the end, that will be us along the wall there.
Oh, nice.
I think it's 100, 101, 102, something like that.
Yep.
And we should be in 2 other locations. One of them I think I can talk about. Rex Hung is going to have a booth there with a company that does software, slow motion software.
Oh.
And I think he's going to have one in his booth. And then we're going to have one in another place that's going to kind of be a surprise that I guess people will see when they get there.
Excellent. Well, we'll get to see it coming up on the evening of the 25th.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
The 25th. You have one more item, and I want to make sure we hit that before we wrap up our little show here tonight, Eddie. So the second one is a camp.
This is my Steadypod. It's the world's best and most versatile handheld camera stabilizer / support ever. It's won lots of awards and things, including it won Pick of Show at NAB, National Association of Broadcasters Convention, 3 years in a row. And it's really, really cool. It does amazing things. It allows you to get all kinds of really cool shots. As a matter of fact, one of the things I would like to do is help expand the photo booth product line with this, because typically a photo booth is click, and then along came the video booths, and they were, the thing that does like this, and the slow motion thing, and the spinner things like this. I've got 2 things I want to do to expand on that. One of them is the Steadypod, because it'll do this amazing shot that people get goo-goo-eyed over when they see it. And then I've got another thing that I'm really not ready to talk about yet. It kind of is going to depend on whether I can get a prototype ready in time to take to the Photo Booth Expo. But it's a reincarnation of something I made back in the 80s, and it's a corkscrew cam. And come by the booth at Photo Booth Expo, and maybe I'll have one there to show you. By the way, if I'm not in the booth too much, I apologize, because those 2 days of that show, I'm going to be very busy doing a couple of things. One is I'm going to be shooting the new video for the Photo Booth Expo, which I've done for a couple of years now, as well as I'm going to be going back and forth with another show that I'm doing their video as well.
Oh my! So you will be definitely busy. Let's give us kind of a little how that your Steadicam device there.
Not a Steadicam. Steadicam is an arm and vest system that was designed by my friend Garrett Brown, and it's designed to carry big, heavy cameras.
Okay.
It's more of an arm and vest thing that attaches to your body. You wear it. This is a handheld camera stabilizer, and it's basically designed where you can, walk with the camera and the camera floats, like you get silky smooth shots walking and running and things like that.
And that's utilizing kind of that counterbalance to really be able to achieve that.
Yeah, it's perfectly balanced, so it floats, and it's got a swivel handle that eliminates left to right chatter. It's got both horizontal and vertical stabilizer bars. It's just really designed so that you can utilize what is in your own body along with the contraption to get all kinds of really cool and amazing shots. Come by the booth and we'll show you some.
And I've seen you shoot numerous videos at Photo Booth Expo with the device, and some of those shots is so cool. It's when you're walking into some of those vans and things, and it's so much better.
Yeah, like for example, if you watch any of Photo Booth Expo's demo videos for the last 2 years and you see flowing shots, that's it. If you watch NAB's new promotional video that they just released yesterday, they give me a credit for the shots because all the moving shots are done with the Steadypod, and they're pretty cool.
With the Steadypod. Yeah, excellent, excellent. So those will be coming out at DJ Expo. After DJ Expo, you guys are going to then have the website up and ready to go. For people who are watching this after DJ Expo, what's the website where they will be able to go to find out more information?
It's for the Steadypod, it's steadypod.com. For the SpinCam, it's spincam.pro. And we've got a Steadypod website up. We don't have one for the SpinCam yet because we've had a little trouble with getting one made. I'm real good with the video end of things. I'm real horrible with getting videos edited and getting websites up and things like that.
But that'll be up by the time Photo Booth Expo. It should be around that time and ready to roll.
Gosh, I hope so.
Well, that sounds great. Eddie, thank you very much for your time tonight, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. Photo Booth Expo is coming up here in February 24th through the 27th. Tickets in the description of the video down below is the link to go to the tickets. The discount code is there, and get your tickets and come and see Eddie and the crew at Photo Booth Expo. It's going to be a great show this year. Once again, Eddie, thank you much for being on tonight.
Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate this opportunity, and thank you everyone for investing the time to watch this.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.